The economic freedom fighters in Gauteng have embarked on a march to Kleinfontein, the settlement in Tshwane. The party says the demonstration is a bold stand against what it calls ongoing racial segregation as well as economic exclusion in a democratic South Africa. And SABC News reporter Patricia Visagie is currently tracking this march for us and joins us live for an update. Patricia, a very good afternoon to you. So have the marchers arrived at Kleinfontein at this stage?
Good afternoon, Alicia, and to our viewers. Definitely, they have been outside right on the doorsteps of Kleinfontein for a while now, where, of course, the leaders have been, echoing their messaging in terms of why they are here. And ultimately, what they're calling for is for this Afrikaner-only enclave to shut down, saying that over 3 decades of the country's freedom and democracy, there should be no place such as Kleinfontein, and you'd understand that it's very similar to Oranje that many people are very familiar with, and they're also saying that this goes to the heart of economic exclusion for, in particular, black people, the black youth. And I want to bring in the young people of the EFF who have joined this march, where they, of course, came to also make sure that they echo their voices and support the leaders. Alicia, also, you would know that this particular settlement has been drawing much political attention in the last couple of months and perhaps weeks. This is the second political party to come to Kleinfontein in less than a month. The MK was also here. We've heard some utterances by members of the ANC as well about Kleinfontein, and this comes at the backdrop of that High Court ruling that, of course, declared the settlement illegal. And this is where this noise and the political mobilization has reignited. Not a first time, but for years it was quiet. But the attention is back on Kleinfontein, where many are saying that this should not be happening. But I want to bring in the EFF youth, and I'm now joined by Meli Gebashi. He is the Gauteng convener, rather, for the EFF command. In short, your message as the young people, the youth in the EFF, why are you here and why are you supporting the cause by your leaders?
Thank you very much. As the EFF Youth Command in Gauteng, we view this as vandalism, as a criminal activity, as an injustice to the youth of South Africa, black in particular. Just a year ago, we were protesting with more than 2,000 young people who are graduates of agriculture across universities in this province. And you would know that more than 150,000 graduates of agriculture in this country are without placement to any plantation, to any jobs, are without jobs. So with this high rate of unemployment in this country, we have people who are misusing land that should be used for agricultural purposes, that should be aiding the unemployment in this country.
You're talking about an injustice, people who are abusing land, but our constitution makes provisions for separate development, and that's how communities such as these exist, and that's why it has been welcomed over the years. Are you not perhaps using your rights to infringe on the rights of others?
No, that's a lazy argument, and we feel like as the EFF there is a deliberate ignorance and lack of decisiveness amongst our leaders in government. When we as young people back in Johannesburg and across municipalities in this country back in 2017 said no, there's a serious rate of landlessness amongst students in the country. We went and wanted to occupy land. We said that the municipalities must expropriate land that is not used. They must expropriate the buildings that have turned into slums and convert them into student accommodation. We were told that that land is for special zoning, it's offices. If it's not offices, it should be used for retail purposes and all sorts of arguments. But now when it's white people doing that, there is nothing being done to them. They are not told about special zoning. When black people go and occupy land back in the southern farms and say they want to we like to use land for residential purposes, their infrastructures get demolished by red ants and all sorts of criminals. But when white people are doing that, their infrastructure is not demolished. So as the EFF, we want to see justice, we want to experience the so-called equality that is in this country. We want to see the democracy that we speak about.
But this was not a land grab. It is private property. It was donated to this community, and yes, it's not registered as it was declared illegal by the High Court, but ultimately it was not a land grab.
Another lazy argument. Like I said to you, this land is specially zoned, been zoned for agricultural purposes. I'll make an argument that the EFF, as law-abiding citizens, we follow processes, and you would know that we had declared that we want to build a school that is going to be free from grade R up until grade 12. That school has not been built as yet because the municipality is telling us that there is special zoning. We cannot use that particular piece of land for our purposes of building a school. But when it's white people that come and occupy the land, whether it's private or not, even that farm that the EFF bought, it's ours. It belongs to the EFF. But the municipality still has the right to dictate over any individual that this land should be used, whether for residential purposes or as business use and so forth. So no one is above the law.
So moving forward, as the young people in the EFF, what are you planning to do to make sure that perhaps your agenda, your mandate or objective that you'd like to see is realized? Do you have perhaps a concrete plan in terms of what to do moving forward?
Well, you see it being implemented now. We're already using our political influence. We are already influencing municipalities. We have already written formally to the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure and Land Reform and to the Office of the Premier that this land must not be, granted it must not be let loose and allow white people to use it as a residential area, whereas the municipality has already zoned it under agricultural use. So as the EFF, we've already used our political influence, and furthermore we want to follow up with the municipality and the provincial government as to are they implementing, because there is even a court order, by the way, that rules against this settlement of these white people that are here. If that was you, my sister, in any piece of land, even if it's 15 square meters, your house or your shack was going to be demolished. There's nothing special about white people. We want their houses to be demolished. We want to see what we've seen for ages being done to black people. Some of them don't even build shacks, by the way, don't erect shacks. Some of them will go and build houses in property that they have communally purchased and wanted to use it for residential purposes. How many of them have been demolished? No single white property has been demolished in the same argument that they've been using against us. If they're not going to demolish these houses, let them pay back the money of black people. Let them pay back all the money of the people that have built in those land that they've demolished. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. The EFF Youth Command just adding their voice to, of course, what is happening here outside of Kleinfontein. I'm stepping out of shot just so that you can see the crowd that is gathered out here. Some have already started walking back. Of course, the cut-off time is 3 o'clock for the crowd to disperse. And I just want to show you there is a large contingent of police who are manning the main gate. There you can see this side behind me as well, police down the road. There's also a lot of police. So this whole area has been flagged by police who are here to obviously keep the order as the EFF bring their voices to the gates of Kleinfontein, ultimately calling for this area to shut down. The city of Tshwane was also here earlier, and they came to receive the memorandum from the EFF, and the city ultimately throwing their weight behind the political parties that are saying that this place is illegal, it should not exist, and the court order that declared Kleinfontein illegal should be honored, should be respected. We also want to speak to the Kleinfontein leaders who are here inside, and obviously we had organized to do interviews with them, but to avoid tensions, police told them not to come out. We can't go in, so that makes it a bit difficult, but we're hoping nevertheless they will give us a chance to speak to them, perhaps in a few. They did indicate that they are willing to speak to the SABC. They're just waiting for the crowd to subside because they would not want to fuel tensions. You'd understand a matter such as this has the potential to, blow up in any direction as racial tensions are high. Earlier, we saw an incident that happened, but it was quickly, obviously, dealt with by the police, who quickly intervened. And it's one of the examples that the leaders made, that tensions are high. It would not be wise for them to come out this side. It would also not be wise to speak to the media while the crowd remains. So we're hoping to find out how they're going to respond to some of the calls that this place should be shut down. But for now, as you can see, the crowd is moving out. Police are obviously trying to make sure that they convince them to leave and to honor the cut-off time that has been set for the Red Berets who've been gathering outside the gates of Kleinfontein. It's an Afrikaner-only community that they believe this is not illegal, it's not discrimination. It has to do with upholding their right to separate development, as they believe any other ethnic group in South Africa has the right, and this enshrined in the country's constitution. But of course, the political parties are saying this should not exist in a democratic state, in particular, not 3 decades after democracy. We toss it back to you.
Thank you so much for that comprehensive update there, Patricia Visagie. I was actually looking forward to try and get any reaction from the residents or managers of the settlement. And as we've just heard there, of course, they will be, giving their response in a couple of minutes' time. But according to our constitution here, it says there is no legal basis for segregation, right? The constitution does not provide any basis for segregation or the creation of separate communities based on race as well as ethnicity. The South African legal system actively works against any form of racial segregation or discrimination. So more reaction we are expecting to receive pertaining to that particular matter throughout the course of this bulletin.